By listening to the following, you are acknowledging that the comments, opinions, and analyses expressed by Metatope LLC, its representatives, or any other contributor are for informational purposes only and should not be considered individual investment or legal advice or recommendations to make an investment or adopt any investment strategy. You should be aware of the real risk of loss when buying and selling any assets, including but not limited to NFTs, tokens, or securities. Always conduct your own research and strongly consider seeking the advice of a financial or legal expert. And now, here's Crypto Chris G with TopeTalk.
Welcome everybody to TopeTalk. Obviously, anything we say here is not financial advice. Do not believe, do not buy things, do not, anything we say is all for educational purposes only. Let's not forget, there's a disclaimer. Don't buy anything we talk about. Don't sell anything we talk about. Nothing we talk about is advice. It is all entertainment purposes only. So now that we got that out of the way, how's everyone doing today? Welcome to TopeTalk number 70. It's great to see everybody here early. Quite interesting day in the news of crypto. Some really cool headlines, but let's say what's up. What's going on, Walker?
Hey guys, how are we doing today?
Chilling, man. It's the weather in Florida is changing, so down here it's beautiful out. Trying to get outside as much as I can, but work doesn't, you can't walk and work, so pick and choose when I can get outside to enjoy it. But yeah, it's been great. How about you?
Yeah, dude, it's like 61 degrees here. I think this weekend we're gonna go on a hiking trip up to Mount Cheehall. It's always beautiful. The leaves aren't quite changing yet, but we're almost there.
It's awesome, man. Medic, how you doing, bro? You can at least talk to us, right? You were able to a second ago.
Yeah, I can talk to you. I'm doing all right, man. Yeah, it's still 100 degrees here. I don't know what fall is. There's no fall in the desert.
It's 100 degrees and he's got a hole in his pool.
What, the ghost put a hole in this pool?
No, there's no hole in the pool. I don't know what that means. No, everything's good. Everything's been, kosher. It's October. Things are just always crazy in October, and not just since we moved into this house. So I don't know.
Right. So since the whole show and everything on the Travel Channel, have you had any people like reach out to you, or has there been any like weird communications or anything?
Yeah, man, I have people stop me on the street for autographs all the time.
Really?
No. Nothing's
Well, I guess more or
happened.
less is since the show, like, has there been disturbances or has like paranormal activity like increased at all?
No, I wouldn't say increased. I think it definitely leading up to the show, like it had been quiet for a long time. I think leading up to the airing of the show, it kind of ramped up. And now it's just kind of back to the way it always is.
Gotcha. Well, it seems the ghosts have taken control of your music audio mixer. So
No, I think that's just crappy Apple. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to say that out loud.
funny. Well, that's cool, man. It's kind of crazy. There's been a lot of craziness in the space today. In general, in the last week or so, it seems like the DeFi side is starting to heat up a little bit. Now you had, there's some great news that just came out recently, and then there's also been some craziness with money laundering for the war and things, and using crypto on that side. So we'll jump into some stuff here, but we also have Enzo. What's going on, Enzo?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I hope y'all can hear me okay. I have new headphones in. I don't know how they work. But, all right, awesome. I got a nice little part-time job last week at a sushi bar right in front of the ocean. So I have probably one of the best views in Uruguay. I just watched the sunset like 15 minutes ago from the place I work, and it's I'm stoked to have a little part-time job till Metatope launches and everything's in full effect. And I'm really excited to hear Walker's point of view on everything that's going on with the news lately, because I haven't been able to catch up yet.
Yeah, we'll jump into some news here in a second. I think usually we end the space with some kind stuff from you, but if you don't mind, man, I could use a little bit of motivation today on if you want to start the space off with some motivational talk.
Yeah, I got you, man. So the past 2 days, our trading professors been talking a lot about manifestation, and something that also Andrew Tate talks a lot about is visualizing like your end goal in your mind. So the way that they say it works is right before you fall asleep. If you fall asleep consciously thinking of what it is that you're planning to do, want to do, then there's something called astral projection, which is you pop your astral body out of your physical body and take kind of like control of your dreams. And they talked about planning your entire life out inside of your dreams, because your mind can't differentiate a dream from reality. What your mind visualizes, it can't tell the difference between if it's real or not. So they always talk about envisioning your goal inside of your mind before it's even a reality. So I'm guessing it's something that I'm guessing Walker, Jordan, Medic, and I'm sure you, Chris, have been envisioning Metatope for almost the better half of 2 years, 3 years now, before it's even a reality. And so it's important that everybody in the space keeps their goals in mind and takes a little bit of time away from scrolling through these YouTube shorts and all these TikToks, and just take time to visualize your long-term goal so that you can figure out a way to plan your life to end up where your goals are.
I like it, man. Good stuff. Appreciate it. Let's jump into some market analysis from Walker, man. What's going on in the space today or in this week?
Well, the title of the space is October New Highs. And October has a reputation for a lot of market volatility. This is also the month that we saw Black Monday in 1929 and 1987. I was actually seeing some headlines come out about that today, about how we were, going to repeat Black Monday, and all of these, different catalysts that would drive that. And maybe that's maybe that's true, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that benefit from individuals preparing for that moment, and then institutions and others loading up on undervalued stocks. Looking at the VIX, which is our volatility index of the S&P 500, it is setting new highs. When the VIX is high, typically a good time to buy. We saw pretty major sell-offs overall in the stock market this week. The Dow Jones, the S&P, the Nasdaq all saw significant losses. The Russell 2000 actually led the way at 3.5%. And this was, really, really attributed to market concerns over sustained high interest rates. We did have the Federal Reserve speak today, Jerome Powell, and he basically reiterated the possibilities of future interest rate hikes due to the U.S. economy's strength and tight labor markets. However, this is my opinion, but like when I listen to the Federal Reserve, I think you have to read between the lines, and we've discussed this, but they are trying to really like determine the stance of all of these, the largest money in the world and how that's positioned, and well knowing that those companies are pricing out 18 months. as they looked at the data on inflation, kind of like what I was hearing from Jerome Powell is, like really the inflation doesn't look that bad anymore. And that we're at a place where we potentially, we can start to cut rates, but we're not going to. And we're going to give this indication and really create this fear that future interest rate hikes are, in play. And then if you look like into November and December, November is tied for the second best month out of all the months for the stock market. And then you roll into December, and I think you've probably all heard of the term the Santa Claus rally. That last week of December, you have tax dollars coming back in. You typically have really strong earnings from your large companies. You have consumers who are spending have been spending a lot of money going into the holidays and preparing for the new year. So, I think it could be, a really interesting time. We had Tesla and Netflix report their earnings yesterday. Overall, I think that they both came in, relatively strong. Netflix came in like over 2 million more subscriptions and users than they were expected. We saw them run in the after hours almost 10%. And I really think that they're setting the stage for a lot of these earnings that we're going to see coming out and probably give some bullish momentum to the stock market. Moving into crypto, it was a pretty crazy time. I think we all saw the misleading ETF approval come out. It was really interesting to kind of see that unfold, and the pent up energy that is surrounding Bitcoin and the broader crypto industry. Now most analysts are saying that by the January 10th date, over a 90% chance that we're going to see that spot ETF approved for Bitcoin. A lot of discussions are happening now on the probability of an ETF, spot ETF being approved for Ethereum in the next year. And those are very, very bullish catalysts and are really going to open up this market for the broader investor, here in the United States and globally. And that's so it's kind of what we've been waiting on. Binance is under scrutiny. We saw Ukraine crypto legislation. President Zelensky signed a crypto infrastructure bill into law. Optimism Network had a pretty big setback where they sent a bunch of OP tokens to the wrong address, and a Bored Ape Yacht Club hack on no other than the famous Discord. They were impersonating one of the team members and were able to get like $360,000 worth of assets. So guys, always be careful out there. For me, this is not financial advice, but I am starting to pick up some positions. I really like the S&P 500 going through November and December. Also, the smaller cap stocks like the Russell 2000. And I think that over the coming months and years, there's an incredible opportunity to position in AI. I think we all know it's coming, and we see the innovation that it's causing around us all the time. And you look at companies like Tesla, like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and I think it's pretty easy, to put a very high probability that those companies are going to be here, be very stable, and be some of the front runners in AI 10 years from now. And the upside there could be exponential.
Agreed, man. That's exciting stuff. Yeah, I think we all would love to see green numbers take place here. There's been some craziness about people like Paulie saying that once Ethereum ETFs hit, Bitcoin's going to hit like 5K, but I don't really agree with that. But let's jump into some of the what's happened today in crypto. So the U.S. Treasury does to designate crypto mixers as money laundering services. A lot of these things are in conjunction to the Hamas terrorist group using crypto to funnel money around, and I don't think that we're going to see much of an impact when it comes to what crypto actually is regarding this. I mean, it is what it is. Like people use it for good purposes, and some people use it for bad purposes. So wasn't too moved by that one. However, breaking news in the last hour, the XRP founders had the case dismissed against them by the SEC. There was an initial quick pump of about 5% of XRP, currently sitting at 51 cents. I guess Walker, are you bullish on XRP in the near future with this drop? It seems like this is a lot. This is all moving in the right direction, right?
Yeah, I would love to hear some of the other speakers' opinions on XRP as well. I was actually discussing this the other day. But XRP it's a very interesting technology that I think has a lot of application in TradFi, and can solve a lot of problems that Bitcoin isn't necessarily designed to in its current state. Personally, I was never like big on XRP because like looking at it fundamentally in the past cycle, I did not see a straightforward path, for those integrations to happen, on that institution level. And now I really am starting to see those signs, that we could be there, paired with a more clear regulatory environment for XRP. I would not be surprised to really see things heat up, as the crypto summer gets kicked off. And let's not forget, guys, the halving is right around the corner. And when you pair the idea that a spot ETF drops with the inflation rate of Bitcoin decreasing by 50%, it really you really start to think that the stars might align.
Let's go. What do you think about that, Medic? I mean, have you been keeping up to date on XRP stuff, or is this something that's not really something you look into?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been following. I mean, I love listening to you guys talk about it. I think it's great for the space, right? I think more and more we're seeing not really, oh, we're going to see a bunch of regulation, but we're seeing those bumper rails get laid out, kind of, right? This is what they're going to allow. This is what the courts are going to push back on. Like, so we're starting to see regulation be formed in a way of, what exists already on the books as far as regulation and how they're going to enforce that. So I think that's a good thing, at least. It's a step in the right direction.
100% agree, Medic. And another thing that I have to put out there about XRP is, man, like, look at what the team did. Like all of the money and the energy and just the fortitude, to really like believe in their self, believe in the space, and to stand up and say, no, this isn't right. And we will do whatever it takes to prove that. And I think that they've really been, a shining knight, for this entire industry. And it really makes me, believe, in the will and the continued effort of the XRP army, baby.
Let's go, man. Well, I'm excited to see how the market, reacts to this. Obviously, I thought maybe we'd see like a 10% pump, but it's okay. At least it's green, and people are kind of paying attention to what's going on. I think everyone's kind of still stuck on the whole fake news version from Cointelegraph about their intern that made a quick buck on people through Twitter posting this week regarding the ETF for Bitcoin, which pumped the coin, and they took a leveraged long and cashed out. I think it was like 50K to 2.5 million or something. Yeah, that was pretty insane.
Yeah,
But
they'll probably go to jail for that one, bud.
yeah, that was that's let's hope that they live in the United States. Whoever did that intern, in parentheses intern, but that was pretty interesting. But to bring it back around to some more positive stuff, today was pretty cool. We had Walker on a space on Tully's space today. Luca attended for a few. There was a couple other projects, and they had some pretty tough judges up there when it came to how they ask follow-up questions. And the couple of the first projects really had some tough questions. But when Jordan got up there and was able to discuss Metatope himself as a founder, the questions seemed to be very respectable. And I think a lot of people, or not a lot, but I mean there's like 100+ people in that space. But I mean I think we got a lot of information out about Metatope to a active audience of investors that follow that community, and I thought it went very, very well. I think a lot of them had nothing but nice things to say after the conversation, and it was shout out to Jordan for stepping into a spotlight for a minute. We've been grinding so hard that it's hard to take time out of the day to jump into spaces, but that was pretty cool. And then there's another. I'm not gonna announce the exact title of it or anything, but it looks like we're lining up another really cool interview situation for Jordan to get more eyes on Metatope through one of these very purely organic audiences here in the Twitter world, or X world, whatever you want to call it. So really excited to see how all this starts to pan out, and it looks like it's going to be a really, really exciting Q4 for the team and Metatope in general. So super excited. I think all of us really want to get some information out there, but sometimes you got to keep it hush hush until the timing is right.
That's right. And so everyone knows this past Sunday was Jordan's birthday, the big 4-0.
Ha. 4-0. I think I'm pretty sure I'm outside of John. I'm the second oldest in the in the mix. So he's definitely not 4.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Oh yeah, maybe like a 3-1 or 3-2, I think. But yeah, no, that's good, man. Happy birthday to Jordan again, as always. Looked like he had a blast. It's cool, and I think he was with Mark Colser today. So awesome! Shout out to Mark Colser, absolute amazing person for the space, keeping positivity and talking to some of the top founders in the space as well. And he's actually has if you haven't seen the podcast with Mark Colser, Jordan's been on that the Colser podcast, which is pretty sweet. I think that's something to always keep in mind. A lot of these things will play a huge part as we start to grow and bring ourselves to the scrutiny of the space. It's getting to that point where I've seen a dramatic downturn of spaces when it comes to attendance, but that's okay. It's what goes down is going to come back up, and we'll position ourselves as a company and a good strategy to be available and to be ready for the onslaught of excited consumers. So that's it's really exciting that we're seeing things come to a spotlight that Metatope is here to stay, and we're I think every one of us here is excited for the future of the company. So I again, shout out to Jordan for taking time and jumping in there, and had I got a message that all the judges loved Metatope and loved Jordan. Even one of them told Tully that Jordan's actually a better public speaker than him. I thought that was pretty funny because he's like, Tully, I told you you're good, but I'm pretty sure Jordan's better. So that was a great comment by one of those judges there. Those guys are pretty respected. So yeah, that was fun to sit in on earlier today and listen into. But yeah, I guess what we could do is just talk a little bit about some of the stuff around the space that I've been noticing. There's a couple games coming out here pretty soon. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention, but I know that Kai over at Eden, those guys have been grinding endlessly, and really excited for the for the Eden game that they got going on, as well as Victory Point. You know, we met with Dave and Julio a few times now, and those guys are creeping along pretty well. And I think we're seeing some of the games that we've all been hoping to come out are going to come out here soon. And one of the most important features that they're all focused on is creating fun. You know, it's like it's hard when you're a business owner and you don't play games to make a game, right? Because you don't have you're not really looking at it in the eyes of like the gamer. So I do feel like a lot of these projects out there that we positioned ourselves with as relationship wise, and always keeping tabs and always motivating each other to, and always wanting getting updates and understanding what everyone's doing. I'm really excited to see a lot of these couple of our strong relationships come to light. And from what I heard, I mean, there's some games coming out pretty soon for beta testing, and that's a in the gamer world, my entire life, beta testing is one of the most important feats. Allows eyes on the project, allows people to actually try out what you created, and you're subject to getting the opinions back and the feedback, and that's all important to understanding what a gamer wants. And I think that Web3 versus Web2, a lot of Web2's mishaps when it comes to these games, these AAA games, is they'll say they listen to their communities, but typically they're doing what's in best interest for the business. And I think, that's always should keep that in mind. But when it comes to Web3, it's a little bit more hands-on when it comes to people that are investing in your game, pre-launch and stuff too, where it's nice to feel like you do have some sort of, like your opinion does matter. And I think that, a lot of gamers, the hardcore gamers that understand crypto, are here already. But once this becomes more mainstream and it's more of the technology is more what runs in the background versus it being so upfront of, you can make money here, pay to earn, play to earn, stuff like that. Once that kind of like is more of a, it's almost like running in the background passively, people will actually get to enjoy what a lot of these creators have done. Anything you guys are looking at right now? And I think Medic was talking about a few collections. What were those, Medic?
Yeah, I was poking around. Actually, Misty's in here. Hi, Misty. Misty turned me on to Dorks, which I thought was kind of cool. They got an animated series coming out in November, and looks like potentially some people from things like King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead are involved. So, I don't know. Nothing's been like officially announced, but they seem to have a lot of connections in that space, and it looks like pretty neat project to be coming out. And I always love new television shows because there's nothing on TV anymore.
I saw that they were releasing. I think they're making a new King of the Hill.
So there was a rumor that a new King of the Hill was going to be made, and then the guy who does Dale's voice passed away. And so since that happened, I haven't read anything about whether they're continuing on with that or not. Um, so yeah, I don't know what they're doing with it.
Well, speaking of games and fun, did y'all see that Fortnite was issued to pay out $245 million to people who purchase assets inside of the game?
Wow.
Why were they required to do that? I heard something about it. I think yesterday. One of my friends was talking to me about it, but he didn't quite explain why.
Yeah, so basically, the case was brought about that Fortnite was intentionally like hiding the purchase, like the way that they had created the flow was deemed as basically malicious, and that they were trying to trick people into purchasing items. And then they kind of fell on the backbone of, you guys are marketing to children essentially, and then you're also tricking them into purchasing these assets. And so they were like, yeah, this is against there's some like specific law regarding what you can and cannot do when you're marketing to kids. I mean, there's a lot of laws, but under that statute, they said, hey, no, you're going to have to pay back this amount of money, and you can just like go in and claim that you didn't intentionally purchase the item, and you fall within that as long as the funds are available. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, it's really kind of a slap on the wrist, right? Like that in that amount of time, they did billions and billions of dollars worth of sales. But yeah, and I think it's an important conversation, right? Like what is right and what's not right when we're offering these assets to unknowing children. Is it even ethical at all?
Yeah, it's some fine lines there, man. Go ahead.
So that brings up the question, um, with with crypto being decentralized and everybody being anonymous. I'm sure that underage people have found a way to also get in crypto, because technically to make a MetaMask wallet and to have someone send you money, you don't need to KYC. So how do you see that implementing and putting up walls within the crypto space? Like, do you think that MetaMask will eventually have to put KYC because some kid or kids eventually in the near future claim that they bought some cryptocurrency using MetaMask, they lost their investment? Uh, is that bound to happen? Is that not bound to happen? Like, what do you see for underage people coming into crypto, knowing that the Web2 space already has walls for stuff like this to not happen to kids, for kids not to lose money?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, Enzo, and I think that you're entirely right. The issue has probably been very prevalent through most of the lifespan of Web3, and it is really hard, much harder to eliminate with the current guidelines of this industry. Now, probably what will happen is you'll see like smaller centralized companies that are operating in the space really take the hit there, because if you look at something like MetaMask, they're not selling you anything, right? They're providing you with a platform that allows for all of these different interactions to take place. Now, I definitely could see, with like the MetaMask swap features and the bridging and these different financial applications that have been integrated into the wallet, that probably at some point in the future they're going to be held to some type of KYC standard, especially when you understand that Circle owns, I believe, the majority of MetaMask, and Circle is very tied in with the regulators and the big banks in this country. So, yeah, I do believe that as this continues to grow and evolve, that they're going to try and put KYC standards in place, but probably in the meantime, the gaming applications, the different financial applications that you see within crypto that have individuals that can be targeted will probably be the ones that take the hit there.
So that arises another question. If they start to KYC, then I mean, I like crypto because as long as I don't tell anyone my wallet, as long as I don't put it on Twitter or on some sort of post or anything, then nobody knows what my wallet number is. Nobody knows what wallet I own. So I like how anonymous crypto is. If they start to KYC, will that cause a problem for a lot of people? Mostly in terms of taxes, because some people use crypto as for some sort of tax evasion. Some people just use crypto because they want to send money anonymously to others. Do you think that that's going to have a huge impact once KYC is something that has to be done for MetaMask? Do you think that some other wallet will become a competitor that doesn't have to KYC? Like, where do you see that going in terms of people that want to stay anonymous, and that's why some people chose to come into Web3.
Yeah, I think all of the above are true. Even look at what the regulators are doing right now. In reference to like the Tumblr applications, and now saying that those are, those are completely illegal to use, right? Like they're really cracking down on those applications that facilitate that type of anonymity. Um, of course, if MetaMask starts to put more restrictions, I think that you will have competitors come into place. But then you're going to have MetaMask, Circle, regulators, all of the other projects, all the other wallets in the space who are playing by the rules, gunning for you. And it's just going to be it's going to be a balancing act. I think that crypto in general, people talk about using it to like go dark or to try to avoid taxes, but it's a really silly way to do that, right? I mean, it's sure, like if you stay completely anonymous and like you're hiding your IP address and you're taking all of these constant precautions where you never send a ping from the device that you're using, and there's absolutely no trail back to your bank accounts, back to a centralized exchange. Yeah, I mean, you can do it. But my God, like the work that you have to go through, to avoid that with crypto versus avoiding it with cash. And then with cash, there's no paper trail. With crypto, at any time in the future, if there's some technology, if there's some dictation that does connect you to that wallet, every single transaction that you ever made is just right out in the open, right? I mean, it's all public information on the ledger. So I think that it's probably not the best use of crypto. Now, you do have privacy chains that have inherent technology built into them, for those reasons. But yeah, we're just gonna have to see. But it really seems like the U.S. is going to be they're going to be more pro crypto. As it evolves, at least a lot more than we anticipated, I think, a year ago. And if that happens, I think that it is only reasonable to think that they are going to put similar guidelines into crypto as we have in the traditional financial system.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I 100% agree. That if we do if we do go more towards crypto, that a lot more regulations will be applied. Mostly, again, for the safety of investors. I'm sure that the U.S. has that in mind and not just like wanting to track everyone. But I think investor safety is a real big issue that we're having right now, considering that anybody can make a coin on Uniswap, add some liquidity, and if you can't read the contract, then it could be a honeypot, and you could put your money into a honeypot, and someone could walk away with your money, and you just lost a good chunk of change. So yeah, I think coming with crypto becoming more of a worldwide thing, I think regulation should be applied for safety
Hey,
reasons.
you got a lot
But
of background noise, but dude, I completely agree. The thing that I will say is I don't think that they really care about the investors at all. I think that they only care that you're putting your money where they can profit off of it. And yeah, I think that's kind of the ugly truth, and that's why you gotta look out for yourself, and you've got to prepare. And a lot of times, no matter what market you get into, there's a steep learning curve, and you've got to make some mistakes. But what Bitcoin and what crypto has shown repeatedly is that this is the best performing asset in human history. And if you stick to it and you deploy a sustainable strategy into this market, you can you can really put yourself in a good position.
Well, cool, man. That's good insight. So basically, John and I are screwed. We have crypto in our name, so they know who we are. Yeah, there you go. Sad face, John. All right, guys, but yeah, a little short one today. Nice to just take a break, but I think a lot of us have stuff to do. I've got a spreadsheet that's got my name written all over it. Let's do some closing thoughts. It's great to touch base on the news, the sentiment. Go XRP. Hope that coin performs well. Let's take a look real quick. It is at sitting around that 51 cents still, about 5% up. Looks like it's took a hit up to 52 cents, claimed creep back down to that 50-50 mark, and now it's seems to be seeing some volume come back into it post news. So yeah, really excited to see how this all goes. I mean, it looks like the SEC's not being as aggressive as they were before. Maybe they're understanding maybe they're actually getting smarter. Who knows? I hope not. But let's see. Let's just see what happens and unfolds over this weekend, man. I think we got some really exciting products and projects, that want to come into this market. But just like Metatope, it takes some time, and it also, you want to do it do it at the right time. So really excited. I'm excited for the end of this year to see what happens, and this next year with the halving. For a lot of people, this is the first halving cycle they've ever seen. It's going to be quite the learning curve and experience for a lot of people, and I do think that we'll see an uptick of engagement here on X.com when all this starts to take place. So, it's going to be quite the journey, and I'm glad everyone's here to do it together. This is all about learning together and making mistakes, and you can't succeed without failure. So let's see what happens, and yeah, let's do some closing thoughts till next Thursday. I'm gonna try and line up some guests. It's a little tougher right now. A lot of people are just not paying attention to their accounts. They're busy with other things, and I love it when somebody gets back to me like the next day. Oh, sorry, I just saw this, and I'm like, well, what about next week? And then it takes them another week to respond. But try to always respect everyone's busy schedules in this life. So you know, I'll try my best. Maybe Misty wants to come up next week, or maybe I'll try to get the Gremgoyles in here again, and have some fun chats. See how the mints went for Narfather. Speaking of which, John, how did the mints go for Narfather and Gremgoyles?
Yeah, I think they had good initial interest, and they're still open and still working it like everybody else in the space. But I think it was a good initial weekend.
Yeah, it's changed a lot since the past, man. That the previous cycle was like projects would sell out instantly, or it was all about getting the sell out. But now it seems like if you have a strategy in place that allows, like, the Meta Rebels is still minting, and I know you picked up a Rebel here recently, so uh, I think I think slowly but surely. Sometimes you got to be the tortoise and not the hare, and we'll see. It's exciting, man. I love to see the communities all banding together, and I try to jump into as many of these community spaces as possible to give them support. It's hard to market right now. There's not much audience outside of here, and a lot of people just it's short-sighted on what an NFT is, or blockchain tech, but they'll come around, as things as bigger like entities like provide experiences. It'll make more sense, and that's just okay. It's just the way the mind works. So I always keep a look at what Starbucks does, because I've been collecting Starbucks stamps and reward points. I think when Starbucks first launched their first stamp, that thing was selling for like $1,000 a pop, and it was free. So I always keeping an eye on that app and what they're doing. I still don't go into Starbucks because I can't stand like Starbucks coffee, but I might have to go in there and just like get the little app scanned a few times here in the future. I miss all the pumpkin spice, so maybe I have it because it's not Halloween yet. So maybe I can still go in there and knock out a pumpkin spice stamp. But um, yeah, I think. Another one. If you guys haven't paid, want to get an idea, there's a coin coming up called Supra. It's a super coin coming up. I got an email. I signed up when I was trying to look at airdrops and trying to find out what everyone was doing. But the super coin, $ Supra, that seems like a legit company that's about to do a pre-sale or do something regarding like their whitelisted where you got a KYC with them. But the backing looks strong. I know that Coco's really bullish on Mantra. Obviously, a lot of us want to see the ZK Sync come out. So there's some legit stuff in the works. It's just when the market's ready, we'll start to see some of these really start to take off, and some of these could potentially be top 10 coins in this next cycle. And man, it's so crazy to think we've been here for so long that it's like this entire last year. It's like, when is this next cycle going to come around? It just keeps getting more and more like dead, but it's going to flip. It has to. Like, it just the way the cookie crumbles and puts itself back together, right? Or you eat the cookie, like one of the two. But yeah, guys. So thanks everyone for hanging out here. Go ahead and so get some closing thoughts here, Walker, and then to John. Then we'll end it with Enzo.
Yeah, man. Everybody just stay, follow whatever your passion is, and I think especially in the space, being in the winter, it can be very hard. Sorry.
Sounds like a ticking
It can
time
be
bomb.
very it can be very hard sometimes. And you have to have, the vision and the fortitude to believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing, appreciate these moments. And I think that greener times are right around the corner.
Go ahead, John.
I just want to tell everybody, with everything that's going on in the world these days, no matter where you are, look out for your loved ones, look out for your safety, and be aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you. And stay in the space. I think there's a lot of really good stuff coming fourth quarter, and who knows what Santa will bring for Christmas this year.
Yeah, I wish Santa could take care of my anxiety, but my mom's coming up to tomorrow to help me clean out the closet here. I've got some old clothes that got to go, so it's going to be good to see my mom in the morning and spend some time with her. Her birthday was this week, and unfortunately with work, I wasn't able to attend her birthday brunch, but I told her tomorrow morning early we'll be able to spend some time together. So really excited for that. Enzo, take it away, man.
Man, it's hard to follow up with Walker and John here. And happy birthday to your mother, man. Really glad you get to see her. But I would also like to touch upon the fact that staying healthy. I think I always close with this. Staying healthy is like one of the most important things. Without a healthy body, you don't have a healthy mind, and without that, you can't make the right decisions in the market. Uh, like you were saying, Chris, and anxiety might take over. You might start to overanalyze your strategies. So it's always important to stay healthy, have a workout routine, be on a good diet. And if you have an extra 10 minutes before you go to bed, instead of scrolling through TikTok or YouTube shorts, just take that time to meditate, visualize your goals. That way, when you go off into the night and your subconscious takes over, it can see what you want out of your life instead of the videos that you're scrolling through on YouTube.
That's great, bro. 100% on point. Guys, have a wonderful evening and a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday for episode 71 of TopeTalk. Take care.